I can feel like 80 rats in my Marys. Me and Drizzy back to back, it's getting scary. If you fucking with my eyes, just don't come near me. Put some bins all on your head like Jason Terry. Whoa.
Let's get it. March Madness, man. March Madness, we is
All
here.
rise for the national anthem.
G-Day vibes.
Oh yeah, happy brother to my man, you know what I'm saying? Happy brother to my good man right here, 26 years old.
Big 26.
You know what I'm saying? More life to him, more blessings.
Absolutely.
All that, you heard?
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I had an amazing weekend. Amazing days, man. With the brothers, with the family, with the gang. Hey, coming into March with good vibes, bro. 2021, we got Elevate. Let's continue, bro. Continue. The Faison podcast, bro.
You officially getting old, bro.
Officially, bro.
It's officially happening.
I'm like, bro, 26. I'm like, man, Lord, we still young, we still prospering, but hey, when you look back on it, it's like that. The 2000 babies, they're 21 now. They're 20.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's like, think about how time was
18,
95, bro. 95 babies, we 26, 94, we 26, going 27. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy.
My sister be 27 in 2 months. That's crazy.
So, unbelievable. So let's get into it. As you know, Game Shift. Welcome to you, Game Shift. We are Game Shift. Hey,
Yes,
my boy Hugh. Hey, look, go get that merch.
Definitely go get
Merches.
And go get this merch too. We got the new color pile on there.
Absolutely.
New collection out, you know what I'm saying? Definitely go get that.
Ain't nothing to support. Support your people, man. Support your people. So what we have here today, man, let's get into it, man. Bday vibes, of course. We're gonna talk about what we did, more life, more blessings. Hey, Biggie new doc, man. I got a story to tell. Very impactful doc. We're gonna get into that. Next, man, something that really just didn't hit the headlines or hit people's timelines or people don't even know about. Georgia teacher apologized for saying Breonna Taylor is responsible for her own death. In quotations, hanging out with bad people.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't even know about that.
So we're gonna talk about that, and it was a
crazy.
video clip alongside, but we're gonna get into that because I want to delve into that. Top 5 favorite superheroes. Top 5 favorite superheroes. We're gonna really think on this one. And lastly, man, would you rather be able to detect any lie that you hear or get? So let's get into it, man. The Bday vibes, man. The big 26, man. The celebration, man. We had a good time.
Definitely.
This whole weekend was a good time, good vibes with my brothers. Man, we went bowling. Amazing time. I never been to a bowling alley for 4 hours.
4 hours of bowling?
Yo,
I've never done 4 hours of bowling. That was crazy. And we got the smoke for y'all if y'all want any. Just let you know.
I was looking bad in the beginning. I was looking bad, but I came out strong. I came out with a few wins. I tried.
I'm tough. Oh, I can tell you, I'm tough.
He was wild. He was doing things. But like I like that too. Going back to the nostalgic things, bro. Like what we used to do alongside of like going bowling. Remember we used to go skating, like the go-kart racing, like those type of fun events and things. Especially like, of course, we in these COVID times, a little things are opening back up. But that is something that can be spaced out, and everything was just professionally, accordingly. Everything went well. Honestly, I just had an amazing weekend too with everything else I did as well. Man, so it's just more blessings, bro. It's just like you just said, coming into 26 and looking back on things, like see how far we come, how long we've been friends, everything, man. It's like, man, I was just talking to one of my best friends saying that we coming into the days of the year, we're gonna be going to reunions and weddings soon.
Facts.
So, man,
those days, they're slowly approaching, slowly and surely. But yeah, it was definitely dope. This weekend and yesterday was mad dope. It was good to get together with the fellas and just have some good eats and good times, and and just talking with one another and just enjoying each other's company. Not letting small things get in the way or destroy the times. Bowling was mad fun, man. It was hilarious the whole night. The competition aspect of it. Just I had never bowled for 4 hours. Like we got there like 7:30. We didn't leave till almost 11:30, almost 12. I had never done that before. I bowled like 4 games. I had never done that. Normally you get like
and it didn't even
2
seem
games.
like it was going by. It wasn't seem like it was going by.
Yeah, man. It was
like fast.
It was just good vibes, man. That was definitely a lot of fun. So I can't wait for the water to open back up and we can start doing more things like going go-karting. I still haven't been to the Autobahn. That's something that's on my bucket list to do. and all the different types of things. So yeah, definitely good vibes.
What's your prediction on things opening back up? What do you think?
It looks promising, man.
Because just a disclaimer, like just to put that in play, like they were just saying in Texas, the governor, or they just said 100%.
No, they're wild.
All right, but I mean, yes, they've been open in certain senses, but that's putting up like that's just my opinion on it. That's too much. That's putting the public too much in danger.
I think they just weren't used to having snow, and since they got it, I don't know. They don't know how to act. That's wild. But I'm optimistic about things opening back up. It looks promising. They already talking about movie theaters coming back, and they're letting people in arenas. They're already talking about concerts may come back. I don't know about like full blown concerts. They may allow certain people to be in the crowd, but it's very promising. You haven't heard too much negative news as far as how the vaccine is going, and the vaccine is only improving every day. I'm not encouraging anyone to get it if you don't want to get it. Your reasons should be your own. Right. But it does look promising, and I do think if people just I think if we continue what we're getting into, I think it'll work out. Biden has already been putting in place the possibility, or not the possibility. We're already on track to vaccine, I think 300 million Americans. In by July, so yeah, so I think it's promising. You know what I'm saying? I think it's promising.
Absolutely, and just with that being said, man, I just don't know for sure, but it is promising. It's just in my mind, it's just wondering we don't really even know actually what this thing actually entails or is. Yes, there's a vaccine in place, but it's I don't know how public is going to react to it, because I feel like once we get out in public and the summer is coming, it's just going to be up in the air. And we don't want it. We just don't want it to reoccur again, because that can be another 2020 incident.
I think it'll quickly. So I think it'll be I don't think their goal is to eradicate it, because I don't think it can be eradicated. I think their goal is to get it like how it is with the flu. We live with the flu virus being in the air. There's a vaccine for that. People die from that every year, but it was never as deadly as, the cause of the entire pandemic. So I think the goal is to get it to a point where it can be lived with and manageable. If you catch this, hey, we can solve this problem. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to die. Before, when it hit, nobody knew what to do, and everyone was catching it, and people was dying, and they just had to shut everything down to stop the spread. But I think they're trying to get it to a manageable point, like with the flu. Because the COVID is kind of like the flu.
Yeah, it's just a little enhanced.
Yeah.
And that's, you just don't understand or know what these things entail. But hey, we just looking for the future, man. We looking into the future. We want to go outside. We want to do certain things, man. We want to explore and experience life, bro.
Show must go on.
Looking back at things, you looking back in your timeline, your photos, man. I just be like, dang. It just seemed like a historical thing that outside was just once a thing.
Exactly.
It just happened so fast, and it was just taken away from everybody so quick. So
take a lot of things for granted.
So take so much for granted, just us being outside.
The streets gonna be wilding with outside.
Yeah, so it's just that's why I just want to make sure that everybody is good, everybody's in place, because these masks people are eager to take these masks off.
Yeah, don't be wilding when outside was back up there.
Yeah, oh no. But man, oh man, Biggie, man, I got a story to tell. The new doc on Netflix. This honestly monumental, something that people needed, something I feel like that should have came out, if you want to be real, before the original. That's not the original, well, the one that we would proclaim, see, the movie that we seen, is because in reality, I don't feel like everybody, when those movies, those biopics come out, we've seen it with Whitney Houston, and rest in peace to these legends I'm about to name. We've seen it with Tupac, and even though that it was okay, average movie to me, whatever. But it's a lot of it's a lot of biopics that don't depict on their character, who they are, and it doesn't have a lot of people that were actually influential or people that were in their life, family. So to see his mother in this documentary, to see all the people that involved his childhood friends, to all the ones, what was the name? All his best friends. The ones that we got to see in the actual movie, but we didn't get the in-depth thing. We got actors, and I understand that you can have good biopics too, but I feel like those ones are these legends, such as we talking about Biggie, Tupac, and Whitney Houston, and these type of big names hasn't hit the point. And I feel like this was good because we get to see that actually, even though it's not too long, it's an hour 30. It's not a longest movie or documentary, but it was very insightful, bro. Like, I found a lot of things surprising. Like I was telling you before, just about his heritage. I didn't know about Biggie's heritage as much, like that it came so enrooted with Jamaica and how he rhymed and how he did certain things, how he operated just in life. It showed within the streets and within his, honestly, with all of his arsenal within his music. Like he displayed that crazy within his music, and you could just tell the swag his uncle was. So I just felt like it was dope. And then just to hear his mother speak on his behalf and know that his grandmother, bro, is still here,
96,
man. 97 years old. Looking amazing, and it's like a blessing, but it's just like, for me, it was, that gave me a little sad moment because it's like, his two mother figures and his mother are still here, and they had to bury, unfortunately, their son and grandson, but he left an amazing mark, bro. So I know you were amazing, a big Biggie fan. So what did you think about this doc?
I was first of all, I was shocked that I don't know why we hadn't seen this footage before.
Exactly.
I couldn't believe dude had this footage. I was like, yo, you had this footage this whole time. But timing is everything. So this was really dope. Learned a lot just about, because I knew I had some questions about why certain people were in it, but at the same time they were answered when you figured out where they were going with the doc. They wanted to focus on his upbringing and his musical career alone, so that answered my question as to why his kids didn't speak in it, because this was specific to him growing up and in his rap career. His kids is kind of like after the fact.
True.
And I learned a lot about Brooklyn. Like I learned just how my friends always tell me Brooklyn is one of, if not the biggest borough in New York. Just let me know, like, Brooklyn's really big.
Right.
Like it's big, but at the same time it's so like, like if you from one corner, it's not too long to get to another corner, but it just, so I learned a lot about Brooklyn and just like, the way they moved back then, and just a lot about Big in general. Big was always one of the first rappers to really put melodies, in his raps. And a lot of people attributed that to Puff, and Puff was a big R&B guy, but if I come to find out, he was a big R&B head. Like, he loved R&B. I was surprised to not see Kim in it as much.
Yeah, that was the surprise. That was the kick.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
We got some clips of Kim, but we wanted to hear her speak on her behalf and then her experience, because that was dope. That was the best part of it, just hearing their experiences and the up close footage, and it's just like, wow, it was just like they were really living in these times, doing these certain things, and have to make a way. It wasn't a joke behind the things, and then coming up, like you said, in these certain areas. Man, just like up the street, like he was saying, like I think it was Cease was saying, like they just go up the street. You go from where Biggie stayed to Fulton Street, and it's a whole nother world. You have.
That's how it is in projects.
Yeah, and then you see how we even watch Snowfall, how we see all these things, how the crack epidemic, bro, just in our community destroyed us, bro. Yeah. Like the crack epidemic, bro, was a change in history, bro. It's crazy that it keeps coming up now, like in movies and certain things. Even the new doc on Netflix, it's like, it's kind of telling so much, and it's kind of frustrating a little bit, because it's like it focuses on, they put this in our communities to really divide and really destroy the streets, because you had people making the money, but also you had more people destroyed by the drug. So it was just like, wow, and and what they had to go through and their upbringing, and people going to jail, coming back home and stuff like that, man. It was just like,
my neighborhood was like that. It was like, you got, our neighborhood wasn't like the prettiest to look at, but then you go maybe not too far across the street, it's like a whole different, like, not even far from you, but it's like a whole different scenery. But one other thing I definitely did like was, seeing the relationship between, him and his mom. He's like, yo, Mom, why you listening to my music? My music is not for anybody over 35. So she never heard his music until he died. She only heard it one time. And seeing, like, how his rapping style was birthed. And I think my favorite part, for me, was one of the reasons why, I fell in love with hip hop in the first place, was just the educational aspect of it, you know, from seeing it from somebody's perspective from that world. Because I'm not from the projects, but I think it's educational for people to learn from certain rappers like that, because most of those guys like Biggie all had that same type of mentality. You know, it's important to have that friend that sees something in you that's gonna push you. Yeah. And he had that friend. I can't remember the dude's name. They filmed everything and went to jail for him so that he could, you know, do it. It's important to have those friends, but at the same time, it's that mentality of like, listen, man, like coming from this area, like this rap stuff has to work. Like this has to work. Don't play. This has to work, or I'm just gonna go back on the corner and I know I either die or go to jail. Yep. And that may not be the best mentality to have, but coming from that environment, it probably is, because it's like, yo, it has to be balls to the wall, all or nothing. Like this has to work. And Jay was the same way, you know, like listen, he kept telling his people, this has to work. It was like, because, you know, Jay-Z wasn't really sold on rap, but they kept pushing him. Right. But you gotta have those friends that's gonna keep pushing you. You know, 50 was the same way. Get Rich or Die Trying wasn't just a rap album name. That was it. Right. Like, it's Get Rich or Die Trying. Like, this has to work, or we just gonna go back to the hood and do this. And ain't nothing waiting for me back there but this. So this has to work. So I think that was one thing that I always loved about hip hop, learning about that other side of the tracks and learning how people think they come from there and why their mentality is different from others. And I think America can learn a lot about it. And so yeah, that was definitely something dope.
Absolutely, man. That was a dope doc, man. It was real educational too, like you just said. And then, you know, just knowing how much we love our mothers and how much our mothers are in our life and that dialogue that they have. Yeah. You know, and it was dope because it was pure, it was real. You know, so just knowing that she's still here with us is a blessing too. You know what I'm saying? That is so much of a blessing. And
they did it right. They made sure to talk. They messed the Tupac thing up. Rest in peace to Afeni Shakur. Rest in peace to her. But she was alive long enough for you guys to talk to her and do a doc or do a movie. And he waited till after she passed to try to throw that together. Just so definitely glad Ms. Wallace is still here with us and was able to give us this and talk about her son.
For sure.
So, yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it, man. It's on Netflix. I know all y'all got Netflix. There's no way you don't, especially after the pandemic. That was like the only thing to do. Yeah. So I know you got Netflix. Go see that.
Yeah, definitely go see that, because that's hip hop history. That's history in general. So moving on from that, and this is a major topic. This is a big topic. There's no jokes on this topic because this series, man, and something I just was like paused on. Like, okay, what? Georgia teacher apologized for saying that Breonna Taylor is responsible for her own death. In quotation, saying hanging out with bad people.
That's just despair.
And basically she was saying being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she said that live on Zoom, and reportedly, and I seen with my own eyes the kids, because it came out. But I just feel like it wasn't being talked enough. It wasn't on a broader scheme. It really got swept under the rug. So I'm here on my platform to talk about it. And they were recording it on the Zoom, and they were actually checking the professor, the actual lady who was speaking on it. And I just brought this up because as educators, you have to understand what you put out there, what you say out your mouth, and how much influence you have as a teacher, and what that really embodies, what that means.
Yeah, man.
And for her to say that and release that statement, pure ignorance. And that's what we talk about when we talk about all these things of how we oppressed and how we think, and our history, and our Black history, and what we go through, what our ancestors go through, and everything, how we correlate with that all the time is these things are taught. Mm-hmm. Hate is taught. A certain mindset is taught.
Racism is taught.
Racism is taught. So it's disgusting that, and thankfully these students had the wherewithal to even, you know, and also the mindset not to just be like, okay, well, she's just talking to us. Nah, hold up, what are you saying right now? Yeah, absolutely disrespectful, disgrace. Breonna Taylor was an amazing woman on to greater things in her life, wasn't worried about anything that was going on regarding to police or anything of that nature. She was bettering her life and her career, sleeping in her crib, minding her business, going on about her life, getting up and going back to the grind. But unfortunately, she didn't get that opportunity, and we're still haven't received justice for Breonna Taylor. And as you sit here, ignorant as possible, you sit in the classroom and try to exude that behavior to your students and talk to your students, and come to find out she's going to be fired.
Yeah,
that's going to happen.
Yeah, no way in the world.
This is ridiculous, bro. Like, what? History only repeats itself, and it just be baffling to me, honestly. And honestly, I like that's another pro of social media, because we get to honestly see that. And what it makes it even more disgusting sometimes is even when we see it, such as George Floyd, and they're still trying to get these people off of bond and bond themselves out. It's even more disgusting because we have the film. We seen what happened. We still not. You see the things that happen. So tired of it, bro. So what do you think is this?
I mean, I didn't hear about it until you just said it. I was like, my first reaction, that's despicable to say that. Like, that's just despicable. Like, to say that she brought her death upon herself. Like, I'm almost speechless. Like, how do you go to sleep at night in your own house and someone mistakenly goes into your house and just shoots you in your sleep, and you're doing the wrong thing? You know, first of all, you're talking about somebody who's not even here to defend herself. So that's one aspect of it. And then secondly, it's just like, it's just despicable to say.
And it wasn't just anybody that shot her. We know who shot her, and that's the thing about
it. It's the very people who were supposed to protect her.
So with that being said, it's not even.
Shout out to those kids for recording, and you know, she definitely needs to be fired. But yeah, to say that is just it's beyond ignorant. You know, Breonna Taylor it's her right to be in her home and go to sleep. Like, I can't believe I have to say that, but
exactly.
It's her right to be in her home.
I can't believe that other things in that case, like what was it called? Like an object or something got
or
like
her boyfriend might have been, or whatever.
Like all of this nonsense, and then the fact that I really forget his name, but then this man who's the senator at the time said something despicable about Breonna Taylor. You know, and you're a black man on the podium going to sit here and use your platform and sit here and
isn't the DA of the state black too?
Man, it's disgusting out here.
Yeah, man.
It's disgusting. So I just wanted to highlight that and just understand and know that people need to know, especially you educators out here, just being real, that what you teach is going to stay on these children's minds. At the end of the day, they look at you for guidance.
Parents put their trust in you.
You know, they put their trust.
You put that out there.
And like you just said, thankfully the kids recorded that and got that, because that was big. That was breathtaking. Action needs to be taking place. So moving on to a lighter note. Top 5 favorite superheroes. Top 5 favorite superheroes, man. We're gonna talk about movies. We're gonna talk about superheroes and things of that nature enough. So I feel like this is a good topic. So you go ahead.
All right, the whole list or back and forth?
We can go back and forth.
All right, I'm gonna go. Am I explaining why?
You can go first.
Explain why for each word.
We do it after. Just go back and forth first. Let's see.
All right, my number 1 favorite superhero is Batman.
Yours is Batman. My number 1 is Wolverine.
That's my number 2,
Wolverine. Who you got?
Number 2 is Wolverine.
Oh, you got number 2, Wolverine. Oh, yeah. Hulk. I got Hulk.
Number 3 is Spider-Man.
Batman.
Superman is 4.
Deadpool.
And I got a tie at 5, Iron Man and Static Shock.
Thor beat both of them. I don't know what you're talking about. I got Thor. I got my list being his list. I got Wolverine, Hulk, Batman, Deadpool, Thor. I don't know.
I have Batman and Superman. It's over.
Superman hyped. I like Superman. All right, that's cool. I'm not disclaiming. I like Superman, but look, he hyped up. I'm not gonna lie. He's not even the top. I wouldn't even say he's the top 5 strongest superhero.
You were bugging out. You think Superman is not the top 5? Not
okay.
Top 1 strongest superhero.
Who else? Who's in the top 5 strongest? Because I know Thor's in there. I know Hulk is maybe in there. Doctor Strange can maybe be in there too.
We talking about strength, or like
power? because I mean strength in general.
Oh, then Doctor Strange shouldn't be in there. Oh, he can't lift nothing.
What do you mean, Doctor Strange? What do you mean?
Doctor Strange is a sorcerer. You know, no super strength.
Okay, great.
Thor's probably in there, but yeah. So let's stick to why we like our top 5. So like, Batman to me, man. Batman is the man, yo. Batman, he's the GOAT. He's so cool. I'm not gonna get into the stat. I'm just gonna keep it personal. For me, like, I don't know. My mother always told me when I was younger, like, I related to him because he wore black and he was, you know, and I was always a fan of like nighttime and stuff like that. And he did stuff at night, and so he's just so cool. The way just not the way he fights, but it's the way he thinks. You know, he's a very brilliant mind. You know, he can beat you up here more than he can beat you here. That's why a lot of guys sleep on him and think, yo, Batman can't beat this person. And come to find out, like, no, Batman has beaten a lot of guys just up here. And like, I think my last thing that I'll say so we can move on is just, you know, his will. You know, I attribute his will to like Michael Jordan. Like, he wants it more than you. He refuses to lose anything that's in his way. He's gonna figure out a way to get the job done, to save who he needs to save, or to be the world. He makes the tough choices. So Batman's my number one, for sure.
Definitely, and I say Wolverine and Dark Knight is probably my favorite movie ever. So I like Batman as well too. But Wolverine, man, just the aura of Wolverine, and just my personality, my aggression, certain things of the Wolverine, just the fact that he couldn't die. He's the one of one. He is that one. And everything Wolverine did, yo. Body, and what's his name? What's the actor?
Hugh Jackman.
Yo, Hugh Jackman, different, bro. Yeah, that's his name, Hugh Jackman, and that's what really got me into the Wolverine. Like his acting skills, like and my favorite Batman too. Just to say your point, that's another thing. My favorite Batman is the one who's the Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
It's like the imagery of that character who really drives that character. Because the original X-Men, Hugh Jackman destroyed body to a.
I don't want to see a Wolverine.
It's not even close. I don't want to see a Wolverine without Hugh Jackman. They changed Spider-Man. I should have had Spider-Man on here. I'm wilding, but I don't like how they changed Spider-Man either. Like it was cool. I like him, but you know who the original Spider-Man is.
Yeah, I like Tom Holland.
I mean Jerry like come on.
Like Tobey. Yeah,
like Tobey Maguire. But like that's why I really love Wolverine.
But yeah, so I won't speak too much on Wolverine because you already did. But yeah, I love the fact that he was, you know, somebody who's been around for like 200 years. Yeah, he's virtually indestructible. The claws aspect was always cool to me. You know, his aggression, his mindset, you know, and just like, you know, that struggle, you know, that he went through of just, you know, losing his memory and having to, you know, it was like he was always fighting amongst himself. You know, he didn't want to be a soldier, but it's who he was. He was a soldier, you know, and not just because he fought in war, but that's just who he was. He always fought for people that could not fight for themselves. And so, you know, whenever there was somebody who was too weak to do something, he was always there. And, you know, and just that struggle of, you know, just wanting it all to end, you know, pain and suffering. So that's why Logan was always just a cool movie, because it was like, everyone was, man, like, oh my gosh, why did he die? Like, no, like that's the perfect, and that's what he wanted. Probably the only superhero that would smile when dying, or to say something like, so this is what it feels like. That's what he wanted. And Logan was around since the 1800s, and he made it to like 2070 something. You know, he fought the good fight. You know, stopped a lot of evil. It was his time to rest. So I won't say too much. But that's why I like Wolverine. Spider-Man, my third. Man, Spider-Man is dope. He's just so cool, and he's funny. Like he's extremely witty. You know, he always cracks jokes, makes the bad guy mad, or he can make you laugh. He's super agile, super quick on his feet, very smart. You know, Spider-Man is really, really cool. You know, in the video games he's cool, in the movies he's cool.
Probably one of the best personalities.
Yeah, very, very personality wise. And so that's why I love Spider-Man.
I would say mine is definitely Hawk. Hawk was always different to me. He was always different to me. Of course, green, range, and everything, but Hawk was real unique. Just like he having a backstory. Most of these people we named they were geniuses in the comics. They're like really geniuses. Hawk was one of those geniuses, but honestly, with the chemical imbalance, the things that he was going through with his father, his rage, where it all comes from, I always felt that was dope when I was watching Hawk. And then how it related in every like Avengers movie and things of that nature, like Hawk always took over. And the Hawk movies was fire. Like the second Hawk movie, that was my favorite one.
Yeah, because that first one was terrible.
The first one was terrible, animation, all that. And I still like Hawk. But that second one, that Hawk, that was it right
I wish they would have expanded. I wish they actually, you know, I like Mark Ruffalo, but Edward Thornton I feel like Edward Thornton was a better Hawk.
I like that.
But I do like Mark Ruffalo.
You talking about the one who was in Avengers?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo was in the
Right,
Avengers,
right,
but
right.
the first Hulk,
I like that
the
one
one
too.
that started in the MCU was Edward Norton, and
yes.
he was really good at that.
He was. I like that
Who's
one.
my fourth? Oh, Superman. Superman's my fourth. You know, you're talking about a guy who can have a building fall on his head and he wouldn't feel it. He would let a grenade explode in his hand. He would move. Lava doesn't affect him. Bullets bounce off of him, and if you punched him, you would break your hand on contact. You know, so just stuff like that. I liked his character because, you know, Superman is, you know, he's basically indestructible, you know, to a certain degree. There's a certain level of villain or things that can hurt him outside of kryptonite. So, you know, his struggle has always been, you know, keeping his strength, you know, to a minimum, you know, because he can really damage everything and every person he touches if he's not careful. And, you know, and because of that, you know, it kind of makes him soft. They call in the superhero, they call him the Boy Scout because, you know, he doesn't, you know, and that's one of the things that he's always learned from Batman. He doesn't have that what it takes to to really get you to, like, you know, Superman, he might threaten to hit you in the face if you don't tell him, but in all honesty, he's not really going to do it. He just doesn't have the in him. Batman will really drop you from that building if you don't give up the goods. He'll catch you, but he'll really drop you. That's why I like Superman. It's always the struggle between having to fight within that inner strength of yourself.
I was always on the rougher edges of like the superheroes. That's why I like the rough, you know what I'm saying, the rougher, like Superman, he's clean.
He's the Boy Scout.
Right, yeah, he's more so the clean cut. So I ain't really, that's why my next one was Deadpool. Like, I love Deadpool. That's one of my, if not my favorite personality of
Deadpool is like an R-rated Spider-Man.
Yeah, he is. And I love Deadpool just because, honestly, like you said, he's so similar to Spider-Man. He's athletic, he's agile. Like, he's one of those, but he is hilarious. And that's what makes, like, him a real good character. Real good comic, so Deadpool is definitely another one.
Nobody else could have played Deadpool besides Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds. And that's another reason why you like these comics, these actors, man. They be bodying these roles. Yeah, Ryan Reynolds, he killed Deadpool. That's where it's at. That's why I like that. And Spider-Man, I would say too.
So my last one is a tie. I'm gonna go with Iron Man first. Iron Man is probably the only superhero who's on my favorites because of the actors in the movie. Yeah, Robert Downey definitely made me an Iron Man fan. You know, his portrayal of Iron Man and, you know, just that whole 10-year process of watching him play Iron Man in the MCU was just dope, and just seeing him save the world at the end. Cause it was always Tony. Like ever since he, you know, took that nuclear missile into space and saw what was coming, it was like he kept telling everybody like, yo, like, I've seen what is coming. Right. Y'all, we're not ready, and no one would listen. So you know, and Doctor Strange did what he did based off the fact that he knew it was going to be Tony. So that's what made me an Iron Man fan. Just his portrayal. And the last one is Static Shock. That's my other tie. You know, I gotta have a black superhero in there.
Definitely Static Shock.
Yeah, and I'm watching that. I'm rewatching that right now. HBO. We grew up on that. You know what I'm saying? I hope to do a Static Shock game one day. Static is dope. You know, because for me, was one of the first black superheroes I could relate to before I started getting into more stuff, you know, because he was a teenager, he was young, you know, and he looked like me besides the hair.
Right.
So stuff like that. And, you know, he's also like Spider-Man because Virgil's also very witty. He's also very funny
too.
And comical. So yeah, definitely. If you haven't seen, that's something we grew up on, man. Saturday cartoons, Kids WB. If you haven't seen Static Shock, definitely go on HBO Max and tap in with Static Shock.
Absolutely.
Really great. Talked about a lot of different stuff like bullying and racism and dyslexia and, you know, kids with guns. It touched on a lot of different topics.
A lot of different meanings too, for sure. And then also, because we didn't have it on the list, and I don't just want to just put it on there, but it's been on my mind. That's why I didn't, because we're growing up, the imagery of Black Panther, we wasn't really privy to. I wasn't big in comics like that. I didn't know who Black Panther really was until more so present day. So Chadwick Boseman, needless to say, that role is body sealed, signed and delivered. Like, point blank period. Because that movie brought me to even know who Black Panther is, brought me to know, honestly, and then it just like, when that movie came out, not, you know, it being so it's in the comics, but when the movie came out, it's just like the cinema, everything involved around it, and then our people being involved in that, and what Wakanda embodies, what that looks like, and seeing the king actually doing king things, and you can see him playing in the body of Black Panther. and Black Panther and what it really means. And when we just having a conversation about Fred Hampton, I'm like, yo, it's really deep. It's really deeper
for me
than what it is than just a.
I was waiting on a Black Panther movie when I was in middle school because I was a Black Panther fan from the comics and reading up on him. So I was always waiting on a Black Panther film. So when I finally got it, it was everything that I wanted it to be and expected it to be. So it was really dope. Shout out to Chadwick Boseman, man. Rest in peace to him.
Absolutely. So lastly, Thor. Thor is his guy. Thor has always been one of my favorite superheroes, bar none. I always felt like he was the strongest. He was always the one to. If at the end of the day, I always felt like Thor. If it all went wrong, even though in the last Avengers and in the game he took he took Thanos' head off. Rightfully so, because I thought he was gonna be the one to slay Thanos because all the conversations about the Avengers, those Avengers series, those two is amazing. Like, I don't know which one you would say was better.
The Infinity War, Endgame.
I say Infinity War was better than me, but Endgame was very much in depth, and I kind of like how they did Endgame with intertwining the past and the present and how things happen after. But
I always pick Endgame because when I think about that final scene, that final war,
right,
and how everybody came back, right. It's just, and then when Captain America's whispers assemble, I'm like, right. it just gets me chill. Like, that's one of the best things I've ever seen in movies. Just it gets me every time, so I'm gonna always pick that.
All right, so yep.
And I found $20 that one day I was watching it in the movie theaters.
So that's right there. So before we finish out the superheroes, I got one question for you, real quick. Who is the smartest superhero?
The smartest?
Who is
on
the
our
smartest?
list or period?
Who's the smartest? Because I was thinking when you said that, when you was talking about Tony Stark, I'm like, yes, he's top 3 easy. I don't even know which one, but you do have Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce is not top 5 though.
You don't think Bruce is top 5?
Not smart. Not when you really think about it. You got Professor X.
Professor X is definitely top 3 for me.
You got
Tony Stark is in there.
Yeah, Tony's in there. Tony's definitely in there.
Professor X.
I don't want to say not Strange. Bruce Banner's up there.
That's what I was about to say. The Hawk, it might be.
Yeah, Bruce is up there. Extremely smart guy.
Bruce Banner might be the one. Yeah. But I don't know if Professor X has it over. I don't know. I would say.
I'm not gonna say Professor X because Professor X, he was. His power was telekinesis, but he wasn't like a genius. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't like a intellectual genius. He had mind power, but he wasn't a genius. So you got guys like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner, and even Bruce Wayne is an intelligent guy. I don't think if I really had to think about it, I don't think he makes the top 5. I think there are guys smarter than him. But yeah, Tony Stark and Bruce for sure.
Tony Stark. I say Tony Stark a little bit more.
Tony was always inventing some big wild stuff.
Yeah, he was inventing billion-dollar entities and things that was helping the world.
They wouldn't even have gone back in time without Tony.
Right, so and Bruce too, so that was just a question I had for you. I always thought about that, like who is the smartest?
When you're thinking about it, Tony and Bruce definitely in the top 5.
Yeah.
If I had to think about it more, I could probably
think about it because Iron Man, the suit, everything he embodies is.
Because I saw a thing, and people online talking about who wins, Magneto or Iron Man. Everybody's picking Magneto. Like, oh my God, so that's so easy. That's so easy. He controls metal. I'm like, you guys do know that Tony's suit isn't made of metal.
Right, exactly.
His first suit was, but he always makes new suits. Like I got Iron Man winning in 5.
I would say that too because his intellect different too. Yeah, I'll thank you.
He always I'll thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tony.
I think
just for right now because I can't think of anywhere else. I'm gonna go with him.
So would you rather, bro? Would you rather be able to detect any lie that you hear, or get away with any lie you tell?
I'm gonna go any lie here because I'm a businessman, and the further up the ladder I go, the more lies I'm gonna hear. I need to be able to call out cap.
I like that. I like that too. But on the flip side of things, like getting away with any lie you tell. That's a tough one. That's crazy. That's a tough one too, because it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Because there's so many situations where you just be like, I want to tell them the truth, but I'm talking about not the relationship. I'm talking about just real life things that may happen. Like telling, for instance, telling when your homeboy something happened with such and such and such and such. You know, you be like, but nah, I would definitely say detecting any lie you hear for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And being able to get away with any lie gets dangerous.
It can get away, yeah. It can
You
get
start
dangerous.
abusing it,
and you
start lying to everybody.
You can abuse it, just start lying to everybody, and then that ain't gonna be cool.
But you guys let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, for sure, because that's a tough one when you really delve down into what you lying about, because you like, it's like your parents, like you think about it when you was little, like little certain things like that. But like in an overall spectrum, nah, I wouldn't want a detector. I got to call out your cap. You're not just gonna cap me, motherfucker. I'm not for that.
Gonna piss on my head and tell me your frame.
I'm not for that. So definitely tell us what you think in the comments, man. Another amazing episode. Shout out to the Faison podcast. We are Game Shift, Color Power. Shout out to it all, the big 2-6, man. March Madness, man. Make sure y'all live it up. 2021, man. We on some bigger and better things, man. Focus. 2020 is in the rear view, man. We looking at something greater, man.
So much go on.
Let's get it, man. Love you guys, man.
Peace.
5 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday. 1.